We go from
Welcome to Jets Rewind. I'm Marty Schupak. I'm joined by Ray Clifford in Ohio, Ralph Sharega in Boston, and we all just returned home after the Jets had a most improbable 13-10 victory, overtime victory over the fellow rivals, the New York Giants in MetLife Stadium, the Snoopy Bowl, bragging rights, whatever you call it.
the Mike Battle Bowl. Yeah.
Mike Battle Bowl, whatever it is, and I'll just give you my immediate impressions, just shortly, condensed, and then I'll hear from you guys. I mean, I spent as I usually do, about 80 or 90% of the game, demanding that Robert Saleh gets fired and demanding that the Jets change quarterbacks. But lo and behold, when it mattered most, Zach Wilson, without a doubt, made two of the best throws he's ever made in his career at the end. And to top that off, he actually hustled and got them up to the line of scrimmage and spiked the ball with 1 second. And Jets made the tying field goal. And I said to my son, I said, Mike, if they tie this up, they're going to win, because DeVito's not going to win this game for them. He's like the lesser of two evils. So it was an incredible victory. Anyone wants to give me about Zach Wilson, I'm happy to eat. I only want him to succeed. So, Ray, you were at your bar in, I guess it's in Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah.
The Jets bar. So tell me your thoughts. I got two text messages, Ralph, from Ray. One said, "What just happened?"
Yeah, the other one said, "What just?" I thought he left early. I was about to pull out and leave after they gave up the ball, and I said, "Wait a minute! I made that mistake once. I'm not going to do it again."
Last year's Cleveland game, right?
Yeah.
But just two things, Ray, before I get it. I mean, my oldest brother, Howie Schupak, was at the game, and he left.
Oh, God.
Before the end of the game. That's number one. And number two, and you're going to hear about it tomorrow, Connor Hughes put out a tweet before the end of the game. What a great job Dabo did turning the team around, that they're now 3-5, and everyone's getting on him. So, Ray, give us your immediate reaction, and also give us a feeling about the bar, what the feeling was.
Well, the bar was kind of like we were on the text. We were just going nuts about pretty much everything. I mean, I was ready to come in here and just rip everybody. I mean, not just Zach and Saleh, but the Hackett's play calls, the defense for the stupid penalties they kept committing. And I just thought, we're just, they were toast. And so that's kind of the bar. I mean, every time Zach either got sacked or threw one at Breece Hall's ankles, and just everything was just, it was hard to watch. I mean, it was painful. And then, the end, obviously, nobody left, though. Everybody was still there. And,
right.
I said at the time, and so there was a Giant fan sitting among us, and he said, when they went for that second field goal, and he said, "Why aren't they going for it?"
That was a huge mistake.
Big mistake.
Big mistake.
That was the only chance I felt like we had, was them doing what they did.
Right.
And,
right.
Because if he'd have made it, they would have needed a touchdown to win. But if they ran it and got a first down, the game was over. So,
right. Ray, that reminded me of the Cleveland game last year when what's his name didn't go down at the goal. Who was that? It was the running back.
Nick Chubb. I think it was Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, yeah. But really, that still needed so many things to happen.
Yeah. I can't blame him on that one.
No.
As a matter of fact, I feel like Alan Lazard should have gone down after he caught that.
Absolutely.
Unless he had nothing but green in front of him,
absolutely.
He should have gone down.
I'm yelling, go down. He should know better, too.
He gets tackled and he gets up, and they got to spike it. And that's the first time I looked at the clock, and it just went to 9.
I couldn't believe it. I didn't think they were going to make it. And if I was the Giants, if they were smart, they wouldn't have touched him. They would have just stood over him.
Yeah.
So, right. But you can't, thinking in that moment is tough.
Yeah. And I still didn't think we had time to get down there. And honestly, it seemed like we had that much time in what game was it that we blew it in the end of the first half and did that?
Was it the Philly or the Denver game? I can't. It was one of those. I did Denver game. Yeah, it was a Denver game in the first
I thought
half.
we had just about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
We're never going to make it, and they actually made it easily this time. they still
easily. I think there was 1 second left.
There was one when he
One
spiked it,
second.
but when he actually
I was like,
there was 2 seconds. I said he's got it,
and I didn't even know if all the linemen were set.
Right,
It was
right.
like.
I thought they were. I thought we had it pretty good.
Well, I mean, I knew it was.
I knew it was close, but I was looking at the clock at the same time, and when they got what I thought was set, and he snapped it, it was going from 2 to 1. So I knew it wasn't going to be something where they didn't give us credit for it. But oh man,
Yeah.
And then I couldn't even look on the field goals. I'm just like, well
Did you think that was good, Ralph? The field
The
goal?
second one, no, I thought he missed it. I thought he missed the one.
Bar groaned before they went.
I couldn't believe it, and I never saw a replay on it because I still think he missed it. I could, of all times, for the guy to have a bad kick,
Right. So I want to hear Ralph's reaction to, and Ralph, I was thinking of, I thought of the Cleveland game last year, but is there any similarity about this game and the Heidi game from back in our youth?
No,
Not so much as the way they scored. No, I know that.
Not really. I mean, obviously they blew that one and lost it, and but a lot of things. First of all, I was at the bar in Boston Hurricanes. A lot of fun there. It's so much more fun watching this frustrating team when you got other people around you to like curse to when they curse back. Really, it's difficult to watch them alone. I would say I'm watching the Jets for 55 years. If they had lost this game today, it would have been in my top 5 most aggravating losses. They basically played a team without a quarterback. They let them off the hook. This is, I don't know where the statistics are and how many times on third downs in key situations. God. It's like, everyone, the minute a play ends, we all turn and go, where's the flag? It's gotten to that point. It's just insane. And Salah, I thought he was going to put a hood over his head. I know he's frustrated, but part of it is on him. It's gotten ridiculous. It's ludicrous. And then finally, they call a penalty on the other team, and they're holding, and it had no meaning because the play was, we took the play anyway, and it was maddening.
Well, I have a list of things, but Ralph, you brought up that, and we'll get into that, and especially Michael Clemens and Jermaine Johnson. But I made a note. I spoke to my son. A huge play, even though they rejected the penalty, that Thibodeau penalty stopped the clock.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Yes.
But that was like incredibly huge too. And just quickly, and at the end of the first quarter, it was like a 7-3, and luckily he made a pass to Breece Hall, and Breece Hall did his thing. He looked great on that play, and there was
a flag on that play.
Yes.
Did you not wait?
Everyone in the bar assumed it was against the Jets. And that was the biggest surprise. That was the biggest surprise in the whole game, that they didn't call that one back.
Right. Yeah. And when Tyrod Taylor went down, you knew he was injured bad, because if you saw, the Jet trainers went over there.
Yes.
He was in a ton of pain, and we just wish him well. And then the Livingston, New Jersey's Tommy DeVito came in there too. And it's interesting because Ralph, Ray, and Marty probably have as many passing yardages in the NFL as he does right now. They had minus yard passing, which is a Jets record against.
And they still almost lost the game.
And yes, they still almost lost, but there was no score in the second half, and it was like 7-3 at halftime. And I thought, and I'm not sure what it was, but I thought that, the one thing I want to mention too, Gibson, first quarter, he bobbled the punt again. I love the guy, but you want to know something? I saw, I guess it was the fourth quarter, DJ Reed handle the ball and punt. He looks 100 times more comfortable back there. He doesn't have the speed, but I would put him back there. I remember years ago, we had a player, Jim Leonard. he was beautiful in fielding the punts. I just want them to catch the ball.
Well, I thought Gibson won late. He had to like almost catch it over his shoulder. No, I want to stick with him. If he fumbles one, fine, but I want him to get his confidence because I think he's really talented.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go over the score quickly because I want to base this more on comments and what we remember. DeVito scored a touchdown in the third quarter. He ran it in.
Smart call. Very smart
Great call. Tony Adams
Yeah.
stand on it. He went for
Yeah.
the take. How great.
Why don't the Jets ever do that down here in the red
It's
zone?
unbelievable too. And we tied it up in the fourth quarter as Zach took him down. Like, I mean, he was like a different person. I got to hand it to him.
Well, I want to talk about that. Yeah.
We will. And then they scored the 3 points in overtime. I knew as soon as it went to overtime, we're going to win. Even if they missed that field goal, it would have been a tie.
Yeah.
You know,
Obviously, I mean, look, they were playing a team that had two hands tied behind their back, and look at what it took to win the game. As far as Zach Wilson looked like a different quarterback, I knew they were going to move the ball. You know why? The minute they came out, the Giants went into a three-man front. What a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Wink Martindale, but you rush Zach Wilson, he's helpless. I don't care. And they gave him time to use his arm. What a blunder, Prevent defense, prevented them from winning the game. And if I'm a Giant fan, I'm like going nuts. It was like unbelievable.
With the way they were all over.
It was unbelievable. And what's his name? Becton couldn't even touch Thibodeau. Marty, you were right about Thibodeau. I got to tip my hat to you. The guy was the monster in the game.
He was great. Great. And I'll be honest with you, Dexter Lawrence, after the first quarter, he kind of calmed down.
Yeah.
And while we're at it, I just got to give a shout out because they brought up two players, and I texted it to you guys. Malik Taylor, the wide receiver, they brought him up from the practice squad. He probably had one of the most important plays of the game, but it was pass interference. And I guess it was the color man. I guess was it the quarterback from Atlanta or was it
Ryan?
Ryan. I think he pointed out that a lot of times on a long pass, if you throw it short, is a good chance of getting past interference. That worked out perfectly. And I like Salad going for the winning field goal. But the other one I want to give, they brought him up, and I actually looked into this guy, Xavier Newman, who fumbled the first snap. He actually calmed down and didn't do awful. Got it to him. He's like our fourth string center. So kudos to those two guys. Ralph, I'll turn it over to you for now.
As far as that pass to Malik Taylor, what do I text you guys constantly every game? Throw the ball down the field. Even if it's picked off, loosen them up. Yeah. So many good things can happen. What is the problem with them? I mean, Wilson has his problems, but why aren't they calling plays like that? It drives me nuts. You watch the highlights at halftime, everyone is a bomb. And I'm looking at the guys in the bar going, what is that? Is that football?
Right.
Well, I don't even know what that is.
We're try that once in a while.
Oh, it's just
unbelievable.
And this is the same thing as last year. It's deja vu all over again. Yogi Berra.
I want to ask Ray because I don't remember what the over-under was for Garrett Wilson, but he had
100 on the nose.
He had 7 catches for 100. But and we'll both agree that he's fast and he has moves. Why does it seem like every game, every yard he gets is a struggle? And you see guys like Tyreek Hill, Waddle, Devontae Smith, all these guys, they have some open plays. What is it? Garrett Wilson has to struggle for every yard. Ray, let's see what Ray says. Go ahead.
One thing is I don't think that they fear the other receivers nearly as much. So he's always got double coverage. I will say on one play that I thought Zach read it right and Wilson didn't. Zach threw it like Wilson to cut his route short.
Right.
Wilson kept going, and so it was way off. But I thought he was right, though. They had the guy in front of him. If he'd have just done a, cut to turn around, basically, he had him for a good gain. But I still want to see him air it out. And I think that's part of the problem is we try all these other routes that take time. Just let them get back there and let loose and send the fastest guys, whoever it might be on that play, down there And Lazard's big, so he could, he can contest for a ball if it's up there. So get it out there and throw it up there and, see what happens. I'm tired of these, these routes to the sideline and things that take time to develop. Just let them get back there and heave it once in a while.
Marty,
Stop.
with Ray's,
Right.
Ray's makes one good point. Yeah, about the fact that there really aren't any other threats, and but the fact that they know the Jets aren't going to throw long is they are all over their receivers in these short plays. And like I said, you don't even have to complete. I don't even care if it's intercepted 40 yards down the field.
Right.
You've got to make them believe you're going to do that. That's why those guys are wide open all the time, because they know they're going to throw it long to them, so they have to play off them.
Right.
And this has been going on for like 2 years now. It's just.
I don't understand it. And we get a guy like Garrett Wilson, and these receivers are like glue, and he makes some ridiculous catches, and he's got these moves. That catch he made on the sideline,
amazing.
It's an amazing catch. The guy's incredible. I want to ask Ralph, and then I'll get Ray's reaction. All right, Ralph, we're going to talk about some of the negative things. Give me your opinion about Nathaniel Hackett's play calling, and start with that 3rd and 1 with
an empty backfield. The minute I came out in that, I said, why would you do that? Take away that option on 3rd and 1. It's the thing about Hack. I don't know if it's that I'm watching the Jets so much, but I feel like I can feel like what's coming almost every time they calls a play, even on a reverse. You just know it's coming, and he's just predictable. Even when he's unpredictable, he's predictable. And then when he gets cued at the wrong times, I think he's really bad. I don't think it's all his fault. I think, Wilson, again, does not see the field. But there are some times when you see from the end zone shot on the replay, Wilson scrambling around, and you're watching the receivers, and everyone is running into a defensive back. There's nothing there. There's nobody over the middle. Everyone goes too far. There's a big problem with their coaching staff. I saw Saleh on his press conference basically saying it's a systemic thing. He said, it's amazing how the commenters and even Saleh after this game, you just got a bad taste in your mouth, even though they won the game.
Yeah. I agree. Ray, what about the play calling on the offensive end? I mean, Ray, do you see any improvement from last year when we had what's his name?
LaFleur, yeah.
LaFleur, Ray?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say there isn't any improvement, but they still feel like they're a lot of the time calling plays with the not to lose attitude as opposed to let's win this game thing. And I think it's a trust thing. The other is, I think that I don't know if Zach has the much leeway to do any audibling or not, but if Rodgers was in there, whatever Hackett called, he'd change it to whatever he thought would work. And the other thing is, I think you would be seeing a lot more deep balls clearly with Rodgers too. He'll just throw it up there, and those guys know it, and they'll go get. I mean, when I watched the replay of the Hard Knocks of the practices, he was throwing deep balls all over the place. I mean, that's his way. Push it down the field. He's great at throwing the shorter timing passes and everything too, but he likes to push it, and they don't do it enough. They don't do it at all with Zach. But I think the play calling to me is a little bit too predictable, too vanilla at times.
They start the game the same way every time. They get the 3rd and 1, hand it off up the middle, half a yard. It's like, why? I don't even have to bother watching the first 5 minutes.
Ray, I want to ask Ray, do you think part of the reason they don't stretch it is because they know their offensive line is so weak, they only have a certain amount of time to hold off these defenders, and they're trying to have Zach throw short or medium passes?
Well, yeah, but I think you got to leave that up to Zach to see that when he goes up to the line. I think he could, he's not a dumb kid. I mean, he would know how to audible to something with a different pattern. I just think I think they call these plays. It doesn't look like a lot of changes are going on. Once in a while, he makes, adjustments, but it doesn't look like a lot of changes are going on pre-snap with the Jets at this point. And I think it's a trust factor. And I think Zach doesn't, feel comfortable doing it, I think, sometimes. So he just calls whatever. You knew what I thought was our last drive. You knew they were sending everybody at him so that he wouldn't have time to get it down the field. And he just was, he had no answer. He was backpedaling. And I noticed one thing this time. I don't know. I think it can be sometimes pretty much in every game when he gets flushed out of the pocket for some reason, instead of just going, okay, time to go. And if while he's running out to the right at full speed, he sees somebody, okay, throw it if you haven't crossed the line of scrimmage. But he'll look back over his shoulder almost to see where the defense is. And when he does that, he slows down. And that's when Thibodeau tracked him down at least once,
Right.
maybe twice, where he looks like he slows down, and he's as fast as any of these defensive guys. They shouldn't be tracking him down
Right.
high like that.
Especially he has the moves. He knows where
He does.
he's
So he
running.
just needs to, if he's out of the pocket, it's time to go. You're either running, and if you happen to see somebody before you get to the line of scrimmage and want to take a chance, fine. But otherwise, go out there and get what you can running it. Don't take the damn sack and quit throwing the ball off your back foot, backing up while you're under pressure. Get rid of it sooner.
Right. And Ralph, I want to ask you, okay, just hear me out. Tell me what it is, penalties. Quincy Williams had two major penalties. Becton had two major penalties. Michael Clemens one offside on a 4th and 5. Is this a reflection?
Jermaine Johnson.
Oh, Jermaine Johnson too.
Yes.
Had on a
Same drive as Quincy.
Yeah. Right. Quincy Williams, 2 penalties. The first one, I thought he
By the way,
yeah.
if he was in control of his body, he had a pick 6 on one of those. But go ahead.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
On the first one, I think he responded to a push and he got caught.
Yeah.
The second one, Matt Ryan agreed. That was a BS call because the receiver at the last second ducked his head.
Oh, right.
And he's got, he's aiming right for his chest. I don't know how the NFL can expect the guy to at that point. They really have to get clearer on that. The Jermaine Johnson, if the guy was a running back, they would have never called that. He didn't need to do that. It was a dumb play. It's too bad because he played another good game. And the Michael Clemens thing, what is he trying to do? Block a punt when the other team's backed up into their own end zone? Dumb, just dumb. And he knew it immediately. I felt badly for him because he was absolutely devastated by it.
I thought that was it. I thought that ended the game right there.
Yeah, but I mean, when did the Jets ever get one of those where they get bailed out? When does that ever happen?
Never happens.
Is it the officials or is it just that the other teams are smarter than the Jets?
I can't figure it out. And my oldest son said, how come they never call roughing the passer penalty on the Jets? He doesn't watch every game like us. He said, what was the last time it was called? And I quoted the date, and he couldn't believe it. Quickly, Zach Wilson, 17 for 36, 240. He rushed 4 times for 25. Breece Hall rushed 12 times for 17. He didn't have a good day. I'm going to tell you guys something now. I'm not going to say in the future he won't be better. I think he will be. But I was very impressed with Barkley, how many yards he got after contact.
He came on late when the defense started tiring. I mean, they were stopping him early.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yards after contact. Garrett Wilson, 7 catches, 100. Breece Hall, 6 for 76. One was a 50-yarder. Alan Lazard, 3 for 45. Ray, do you remember how many he dropped he should have had?
I believe 2.
Okay. And I want to ask you, Ray, that pass in the right top of the screen that everyone was saying that Garrett Wilson should have caught, did it look like Zach Wilson was floating the ball to him?
It was high, but it went right through his hands. And to me, I won't say that the weather probably may have had a little to do with that too, but it did go. When you watch the replay, it literally went right through.
Really, I thought the D-back got a piece of that when it hit his hands.
There was one that everybody thought he should have, and the DB had his hand in there and ripped it out as he was going down. But this was, I think you're talking about the one in the second quarter.
Facing is the right side of the field on the top right corner.
Yeah, he threw it high. It was a high pass from Zach, but it literally went right through.
I think we're talking about 2 different ones. But anyway, let me go back CJ Mosley, Ralph's going to like this, 12 tackles. And here we go, Ralph. Quincy Williams, 11 tackles, 8 solo, and I guess the 3 assists. And he had
Yeah.
2 tackles for a loss. He made one
He
play
had
where
some really good
he
tackles.
knifed through there. I'm telling you. And he wears a number 56. If you told me it was Lawrence Taylor, I would have, I said, yeah, it has to be. Do you remember the play?
I do remember the play. It was against Barkley. Yeah, it was on Barkley. And then there was another play where he blew up the blocker and leaped over and got the guy. He didn't quite get him down, but he slowed him, so everyone else got him down. The thing about Quincy Williams is he's going to get a penalty or 2 a game. You don't want him to slow down. You want him to play like that. And if you have to live with a penalty every game with him. But
it was just frustrating that the one penalty that he had there for the hit that really didn't look like it came in the same, a few plays later was Jermaine Johnson. So it was our usual game drive where we
oh my god, the red zone.
But don't worry, the NFL will apologize to the Jets Monday, like it always happens, right?
About 1 or 2 of those. Although, look, they did win the game on a pass interference call.
That's true. That's all right.
That one was blatant. So if they'd have missed that,
Tony Adams, Ralph, had 10 tackles. This is very deceptive. Jordan Whitehead had his typical. He fanned on one.
He fanned on 1 or 2. Yeah,
always.
He didn't play badly though. He didn't play badly.
I thought Quentin Jefferson had a good game, and so Nice Huff, especially at the beginning. And John Franklin Myers did pretty good. And I'll tell you who's not doing bad. Ashton Davis is not playing bad. He was in there. He had a tackle for a loss, which is good.
Who's the D lineman that got injured?
I'm going to go into that
Wood,
right now.
Al
But
Wood.
here we go. Injuries. Al Woods tore his Achilles tendon.
Did he? Oh my God!
He's the 3rd Jet.
He's done his career is probably he's 36 years old.
And we don't know.
I like him.
Connor McGovern and Wes Schweitzer, but I'm going to surprise you guys right now. I'm going to say, and we're approaching the trading deadlines. I don't think the offensive line situation is as bad as it seems. I'll tell you why. I think we're going to have a spot wherever it is for Dwayne Brown. I think he's going to be activated. And I also think that Tippmann's injury isn't that bad. I saw him on the sidelines. So keep in mind, next game is on a Monday night, so we get an extra day. While we're talking about it, and I just want to mention, too, about the Achilles, I just heard before we went on the air, Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles tendon.
Oh my gosh!
Right before came on. So all those Jet fans that wanted him as a Jet before the trading deadline, it's not going to happen. A couple of other notes I made. I think I would say right now, if it's not Quincy Williams, the MVP might be Thomas Morstead.
Bill Belichick a few years ago said he thought Thomas Morstead was one of the best players in the league. And he's damn good. He makes a difference.
3 inside the 5.
How did they get him? Who let him go?
I think it was the Dolphins, but I don't understand what a difference. Yeah, what a difference what was with him and Braden Mann. And if you remember, Ralph, when Braden Mann got hurt that time when they blocked the punt, he was there for like 6 weeks. I said, this guy's better. I said, I think we should keep him. I'll never forget that. A quote, I was watching a little bit of the post game, and Willie Colon, you're going to like this because it sounded like me. He said, I'm watching that game and I'm thinking, how do you not have Tim Boyle warm up on the sidelines the way Zach Wilson was playing?
Or the other guy, Trevor Siemian. Well, I'll tell you, Marty, late in that game, I turned to one of the guys and I said, if they don't win this game, and I don't think they're going to, I think I'd try Simeon next week. You got to try something else. You just can't keep doing this for 2 years. It's just, it's like the great quote, insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. But Wilson lives to see another day because he made 2 really good passes.
He did.
And because Wink Martindale pulled away from the blitz. There's no way in heck that he would have moved the ball down the field if they were throwing all those guys at him.
I want to go back to
loves the blitz. That's all he does is the blitz. And
again, I said this on our preview show. He blitzes 47% of the snaps, the 3rd most in the NFL. I want to go back to one point we spoke about. I thought it was big, but I also I want to look. I don't mind coming out. I'm the first one to tell you what Zach Wilson did bad. But if you watch closely with their fourth string center, he made a couple of good plays on snaps that were
Yeah.
high or low. So give the guy credit, which was good too. But the other thing we touched upon, I just want to, if we could do it a little more. I mean, Lazard not going down right away on that. Ray, at the bar, were people yelling about that at all? Do you remember?
It seemed like there was so much noise at that point, but I think some of the guys were like saying get down. I didn't look at the clock till he did drop, and then I was like, oh, I don't think we have time.
I was surprised. I didn't think there was. I thought there was a little more time left. I didn't expect it to be that.
So when I did a look, when he hit the ground and he popped up, I looked and it was like 9 seconds, and I was like, I don't think we got time.
Right.
I guess when the Giants had 3rd and 4, late in the game, I guess the percentage was 99% chance the Giants have winning the game, and then 4th down and 1. And I like everyone else said he's crazy to kick the field goal.
Yeah, that was that was a horrible faux pas by him. It was terrible. Okay, I think we'll close this out. It was an incredible victory and Ray, you know what I thought about it? I was watching a game. After they did that, I said, great, we have Ralph at least one more week before
Well, it's a Monday night game against the Chargers, who are the worst pass defense in the league. So if Zach Wilson's ever going to have a decent game and the Jets are going to have a decent game, this will be it.
We said that against the Eagles that had a terrible secondary.
Yeah, well, theirs is worse. And by the way, the Giants had 38 minutes of possession. The Jets had 25. Now, a lot of that was because the Giants never threw a pass, and they were running all the time.
Right.
But still, the Jets defense got a workout, and they were just about out of gas. You could see Barkley was beginning to gash them, and things happened just in the nick of time.
What was interesting, Ralph, because both you and my son Michael Schupak at the same time, you both texted me and said the defense is gas. My son said the defense gas. They got to call timeout because they weren't able to move it all too. I thought a good play. I don't know if you saw it. Suddenly, it happened very quietly, though. DeVito was making a pass. They were trying to develop a screen, and Queen Williams snuffed it out. And
he was going after DeVito, and then he turned around.
It was a very good play.
Very good play.
That ball was tipped. They were like fairly close a couple of times.
Yeah,
picking up a tip ball. Do you remember that play, Ray?
Oh yeah.
It was a great play. I
can't remember who it was that tipped the ball that was there, but Williams, I remember him turning and heading back like, okay, this is a screen or something, and he was backing off. That was a nice
Which
play.
Obviously they should have assumed on almost every play that DeVito dropped back on. DeVito played really well against the Jets in the preseason game.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling if Daboll had a little more confidence in him, he might have completed a few passes. I'm glad he was afraid to let him throw, because knowing the Jets, Marty, one of your old favorite saws is that why do we make third-string quarterbacks look like Hall of Famers?
I was thinking all the time.
I think this is going to be another one for Marty.
When he ran that ball in, and it was a great play, it was a great call by the offensive coordinator. I said, "Oh boy, here we go, making another quarterback look good. He's going to be all over the networks in New York. He's going to be the back page of the Post tomorrow." So
somebody in the bar was making a comment. Here we go, making this nobody out of nowhere, and I said, "Does anybody remember the name Dave Craig?" Because I was in college when that one came down. I can't remember even the tiny college he was out of. But they probably don't even have football anymore.
Yeah, that's a good trivia question. I got to try to remember that. Became a good quarterback, actually.
Right.
Yeah, he was.
I just want to talk about sacks. We each had 4, but the Jets, Huff had 1. Mosley and Quentin Jefferson had a half each. It was mostly Quentin Jefferson. That was a great play. And
Jermaine
had 2.
Yeah.
If him and Quincy Williams could control themselves, what play? These guys are so talented. And Quincy Williams I'm telling you, if he can control himself, he'll have some pick sixes. So
Yeah.
that the defense, look, was really good, except for those god darn third down penalties. Ray, I got a text. Here goes from Ralph. Here goes the penalty drive.
Yeah.
It was happening. It was
But
just
that was earlier in the
That was
game.
early. They actually made up for it later because that one they stopped.
Yeah.
But they got the one later.
They completed their mission there.
It's incredible the amount of shooting in the foot that they do. For them to be, here's a team that's 4-3, Marty, and I read people commenting, and I feel the same way. I don't feel like this team is really well coached, but yet they're 4-3 with a bad quarterback, shooting themselves in the foot with penalties left and right, which is somewhat a reflection on Salah. I mean, should we be impressed with that or what? I mean,
I know, Ralph, all I can tell you is I get a text from my son and he said, good teams find a way to win.
That's right.
I was going to say, did you see this game? But it's just, Ralph, I know what you mean, but to me, look, it's a win. Just they won 50. Just like if you get a bunt single, it's the same thing as if you had a line drive that hit the wall and you held at first base. In the scorebook, it's the same thing. So think of how many times we've lost games.
I know.
And we always say, when's it going to even out? Maybe rough in the past is starting to even out. Maybe things will come our way. But
we had the Cleveland game last year too. That was ridiculous.
So, anyway,
nice for some consistency, show something every week. I mean, Quincy and his penalties are a little bit frustrating, but he's playing so well all around. He's way better as a tackler this year, and for the most part, staying under control. He's way better this year, and so I think, and I want to just kind of give him a little bit of a break. That was a torrential downpour all day long, so that had to affect them in some ways too. But still, after a while, you're like, something's got to give here. We got to get some consistency going.
Yeah, well, it's Ray. It's like Ralph said, the way he plays such a level. If we could have him play that level every game, but know he's going to get one roughing call or something, it's a trade-off that we're going to live.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, and Ralph, you pay more attention to me. Jamie Sherwood had 2 tackles. Did you see him in there?
I saw his number. I didn't see any tackles.
Okay, all right.
He gets the Barzalowskis Award for today.
There you go. All right. Anything else, guys, before we close out? We're going to have a Victory Monday tomorrow. Anything else you want to go over? Ray?
No, not that I can think of offhand.
All right. For Ray Clifford in Ohio, Ralph Sharega in Massachusetts, and Marty Schupak in New York, the Jets had an improbable 13-10 overtime victory over the Giants. We'll be on the air later this week to preview the, I guess it's the Los Angeles Charger game. So until next time, thanks for tuning in, and watch out for our 2-Minute Tuesday this week. It's going to be unbelievable. Trust me. Until next time.